Go, go.
Ranger Rabble.
Go, go.
Ranger Rabble.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to Ranger Rabble. Leo V here, along with
Kyle D. Ah! Ah!
super excited for this new series we got going on. Today, we are talking a little series called Power Rangers in Space.
In space. You got to do the
This
corny
season-
announcer voice.
5, 4, Rangers in
space.
Space.
Set controls to outers. The theme song had no right to go that hard.
It went harder than even previous seasons. With like the original, you thought going, you thought that was hard. In Space just took and was like, nah, we're gonna go even harder with this.
Yeah, like Turbo was cool. Turbo had a good theme. Zio's theme was mwah. That's when it shows them all standing there in their suit by the triangle. Oh man. But we're not talking about Zio, we're talking about In Space.
Yeah, spoilers ahead for the whole season. If you've never seen it, you're in the wrong spot because we're just talking about it. So, spoiler alert for Power Rangers in Space. If you haven't seen it yet, please go away. Go watch it. Search it on YouTube. We'll put the link in the description down below so you can just binge it like I do at work. But we go heavy into the spoilers. This series, or this season, let's say, was supposed to be the last one. Turbo did not do very well in the ratings, so they were like, all right, this next one will kind of close it out, and this was going to be the end of Power Rangers. And it ended up doing so well by the end that it revived the series for, I don't know, 25 more years after that. Casually.
And it was cool that they left Justin behind. Like they told him, you're too young to come with us. You have to stay here. So like there was that underlying tension of they just abandoned one of their own.
Yeah.
But like for a good reason too.
Zordon was gone. They had to chase after him. They had to try to find him. Like,
yeah,
you can't take a kid with you to space. You don't know what exactly you're gonna. That's
and he had school the next day. So
plus he finally was getting closer with his dad. Question.
Yeah. Yeah, that just came out of nowhere. It's like, oh, by the way, son, I love you now. Like, oh, okay.
Cool. Guys, I can't go to space. I love my dad.
So Turbo ends. It shoots the Rangers into space. They go with, I believe, Alpha 6.
Yeah.
Into space.
Yo, Alpha 6, because Alpha gotta talk like this.
Yo, welcome.
How you doing, Ranger?
I might be able to do it. Hey, how you doing? It's me, Alpha 6. Whoa, go Power Rangers. Hey, it's your morphs. How you doing? So shoots them into space. They get into the Astro Megazord somewhere in the Astro Megaship. Somewhere in the middle of this, Alpha's circuits get twisted.
They never fully explained how this earthbound ship that they stole from Nasada essentially just happens to just fit magically to the Astro Megaship. Like,
exactly.
How does that happen?
So they get into the ship. They notice Deca. It's the red lights blinking. They're walking around, and then they see Andros in Ranger form. Christopher Gaiman does an amazing job as a Red Ranger and as a leader in Power Rangers. TJ takes up the helm as Blue Ranger perfectly.
Really great.
Like, I loved him as a Red Ranger. I thought it was good. He was the first ever Black Red Ranger. He fit the Red Ranger. He took over control from Tommy perfectly.
And not only that, it seemed like he was definitely the second in command for this season. He does have some great ideas and is still very much, ready to step up when need be.
Absolutely. Keeping Cassie and Ashley as yellow and pink, great. Making Carlos the Black Ranger instead of green. I like the Black Space Ranger. I don't think a green Space Ranger would have been good.
Agreed. The color would just not have worked. And I do like that black and green usually are interchangeable with most of the teams. It's usually one or the other.
Yeah, but I like the team, and just right from the get go, you just get hit with just intensity and drama. Like it's not like, oh, we're gonna ease you into this season like we did the other 3 seasons. No, it's right off the bat, boom, trouble.
Yeah, it was really different to see this season kind of move away from the Monster of the Week kind of arc that
Mhm.
every other season had been doing. This had more of a wider range story that you knew from the get go. All right, the goal is to find Zordon. So you have them throughout the season going to different planets and
Mhm.
trying to find clues.
In Space was one of the most dramatic seasons they had, and it was darker than any of the preceding ones because like they introduced the Turbo Rangers, and they already had a Red Ranger like already fighting the bad guys. He just had 4 other morphers lying around waiting for the right team.
We never even know why that happened. We find out what happened
Exactly.
to one of those morphers, but like barely. So they give us very little backstory as to where Andros kind of comes from. But
Hmm.
I'm glad that he already has the power because he goes up against the what is it, the Alliance of Evil, or
Hmm.
and they don't expect him to go as hard as he did with his spiral saber just slashing through shit.
Get my battle gear and follow me.
Her delivery on her evil commands was so over the top, but it was so good. She was one of my childhood crushes, man. Astronema was one of my childhood crushes. She was hot.
You know, it's one of those things where obviously we all had a crush on Kimberly growing up, like, but it she Corone was more of the bad girl. Astronema kind of gave you that like, oh, maybe that's also what I like a little bit.
Oh man! And then when she cut her hair short, I was like, okay, this is new.
Yeah, evil
I
the evil
like
version
this.
of her. Yeah, the evil version.
Yes. When she forgot about Corona entirely, and she was just like, "No, I'm Astronema." And
Yes.
and then we come to find out halfway through the season that Andros and Astronema are brother and sister.
Yeah.
That
Uh
blew my mind, dude.
yeah,
As a
Ecliptor
kid,
kidnapped Corone, Andros' sister, as a kid and raised her to be evil, and then essentially she became Astronema.
another thing too is the villains. Ecliptor, as a kid, he scared the shit out of me.
Yeah,
That
man, he was
wireframe,
a
like that
very like
wireframe body.
Matrix. Yeah,
Yes, he was.
which
He was. And what was the? There was another one too. It was Astronema,
Darkonda,
Eclipse. Yes, Darkonda was. He had like the ripped open chest, kind of right. Like
that like orangey look with like the half
yes,
kind of
because
shouldery business, and
yes,
he had like 9 lives or something. Some sort of they kept killing him a,
yes,
a whole bunch of fucking times, and eventually he fucking died.
yes. Darkonda was scary though. Like that was one of the first like Power Rangers where I was like, "Yo, Darkonda's kind of like he's kind of terrifying looking." I loved Ecliptor. Ecliptor had such a dope like setup. His weapons were cool as shit.
Ecliptor definitely reminded me of um like a grid formation, or like
Yes,
when in the Zeomorph before they like went into the suit, that kind of like grid animation that they did was very
yes.
much of that caliber. And I think it lent itself to doing that because the Sentai version of this, Denji Sentai Mega Ranger, was a like virtual reality or like
Hmm.
video game theme, so that kind of goes more along with that than space. In past seasons, it was very Sentai heavy footage where like anytime they were morphed was all
Hmm.
Japanese footage. And this season was particularly different because they had a lot of American made things going on. The
Hmm.
Quantrons were not the Sentai villains. It was those like weird purple things, the Kuni bots or whatever I believe was the Japanese name, the Kuni.
Kuni
But
Kuni bots.
I want to say they were the Craterites in the
Okay.
The American series, they were the purple things that they fought for like one episode, but that was supposed to be in the Sentai footage. They are like full-time putties. They are weird looking, to be honest with you. So the Quantrons that they came up with for the American version was a way better adaptation for a bad guy, considering this was going to be their last hurrah. So like, all right, put a little bit of originality in there.
Yeah. And let's not forget that this season also introduced us to the Psycho Rangers.
Bro.
And I'm
Psycho
sorry.
Rangers.
Yeah, dude, I loved the Psycho Saga. Oh, it was so good.
It was a really nice second half arc because they really needed someone or something to prevent them from getting where they need to, because at that point Astronema had already started to kind of turn good in and out. So the Psycho Rangers were a great next level baddies that they needed to fight. Okay, so have you ever read the words that are happening in the background of their morph sequence?
No.
So you know when they morph, there's like all those words in the background?
Yeah.
Okay, you ready to hear what it is?
Oh, God.
Tighten up, reality gangster. Stigma through idiot hearing. Keep frustration clear. Patience open, ahead. Getting away with it. Lead some distant memory. Drove. Get the message. Discipline. All remains. Wish double edition cover.
Wait, what?
A few moments later.
Yeah. Absolute fucking gibberish.
What?
Now, the other cool thing about the morph that I never really put together, but because it was like video game themed, they have like stats down at the bottom right corner. So they have like an attack stat, a defense stat, and a speed stat. And their weapon is displayed up in the top corner. So it's like I picture like a video game choosing menu where they're like you're scrolling through and you get to see like the stats of each of your characters that you get to choose from.
I somewhere have the blue and black Space Ranger figurines from the 90s still.
3, 3, 5. Wee, 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 wee.
You know whose morph I hated though? I hated when Zane said "Let's rock it." Zane goes, "Let's rock it."
No, he doesn't, does he?
Let's rock it!
Oh, I swear.
Let's rock it!
And I'm almost positive that In Space was the first season where the Rangers actually morphed in front of like civilians, and everyone saw them morph.
Yes, at the end that definitely happened. Now, that at the very so this is gonna so there's always the conversation about Power Rangers with, why don't the bad guys just kick their ass because their morphs take so long, for them to go through. And the scene at the end shows that they can very easily just morph quickly. There was an explosion and then they were morphed. So like all that the long visual stuff is really just for us as the viewer.
Exactly, that's what I was gonna say.
Get through all of that and to
it really only takes like 0.3 seconds to morph, but they have to show us that they're okay. Here we go. I don't know why I keep doing the Mighty Morphin one. It's just the original.
It's natural. It's
yeah.
So it's one of those things where everyone's always crying about, oh, their morphs take so long. Although the morphs do get longer and longer and longer and longer as the years go on. It's just the most drawn out morph sequence. Jump up in the air. Look around. Oh, look, here's some pretty stars. Oh, look, my suit's coming around. Oh, now I'm going to hit the ground. Oh, I'm half in a suit. Now I got to put a helmet on. Are you done yet?
Well, they in the movie in 95 in the movie, the Mighty Morphin movie, they actually answered that when they got their morphing. All the bad guys were gone. They just left. They were just like, "Fuck this, we're out. Like, you're taking too long. I have dinner at 7:30. My wife is making meatloaf. I'm not missing meatloaf. You're taking too long to morph. I'm gonna go eat. I'll come back in an hour."
You guys morph. We're gonna go play hide and seek. You come find us when you're ready.
Yeah.
Knock, knock. The Power Rangers are just pretend, comic book.
It still doesn't make sense why they brought the Ninja Turtles in.
That was honestly one of the strangest parts of the crossover, and
Yeah.
I guess for the cross promotion of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Next Mutation TV show, that was absolute trash. If you haven't seen it and you really want to torture yourself, by all means, go watch the Next Mutation. You'll be introduced to Venus, the fifth female turtle. So that was an interesting crossover that again probably didn't need to happen.
Mm.
But I still enjoyed that crossover better than the Turbo crossover where they had two random cars that needed to be not kidnapped by somebody or something, and like Justin came back to save the cars, and then it was on another planet, and then
There's a simple explanation for that.
then there was a couple episodes where they had to like go on another mission for like new Zords. They had to get the what are that the Mega Voyagers.
Mega Voyager, yep.
I have all the fucking names written down because there were so many goddamn Megazords. So they start out with the Astro Mega Ship or the Astro
Yes.
Megazord. Then they get the Delta Megazord. Then they get the Mega Voyager, and then Zane shows up with a Mega Winger.
Yes, the Mega Winger.
Now, the thing that always got me with the Mega Winger, Zane went and like hung out with the rebels that he found on a planet and was like hanging out with them and like making sure they were like up to strength and ready to go. And all of a sudden, these rebels have the ability to make a Zord? Question mark? Because he says like it was a gift from the rebels, and I'm like, where were they hiding this, and why
Yeah.
were not they using it throughout this entire saga?
I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. It wasn't as
Oh.
campy as the first three series were. It wasn't as nearly as campy because like there was something real like wow, like these guys might get their ass beat. Like they might not win this battle.
And they did get their asses beat a bunch. They got their asses handed to them. The Psycho Rangers absolutely destroyed
yeah.
them. There was the first episode when before they got their morphers, they got laid hands on by those Quantrons. They were just not holding back.
The noise the Quantrons make still sticks in my head to this day. Yes.
It's the internet connection noise.
You've got mail. When Andros got his Battleizer, when the kid pressed the 3 button, first of all,
before we even get to the Battleizer, the kid that pushes that button should not have even been alive to push that button because Carlos murdered that child. Carlos murdered that child. I don't care who you are or what you're going to tell me. He murdered that child. She was a whiny bitch who blackmailed Carlos into like because she knew he was the Black Ranger, so she made him do all these things for him, all because she wanted to like get a space rock because her and her brother wanted to be astronauts, and then her brother died, so she was like, "I'm gonna be an astronaut." So Carlos takes her to space and takes her on a ride on the Galaxy Glider with no helmet. Little girl just breathing in space air. That's exactly what she should have looked like. Not to mention how many different planets did they show up to, and it's just like, we're just gonna go in unmorphed, just breathing in some air.
Imagination.
Don't tell me to do. This is real, man. They went to space. You can't ruin my life like this and tell me it was not real. So this little girl decides to push the button on the Battleizer, even though Andros said, I might not be strong enough or it made me too powerful. So, like, I don't know what's going to happen. She was like, tee boop. There you go.
And then he just gets a 12-pack out of nowhere on his suit.
Well, they had to make something that was going to look like the toy, so they made that specifically to sell toys. So that was another American-made part of the season. But they were like, "Well, okay, we'll just give you wings and roller skates and missiles."
And an unnecessary face shield. That suit is made by OSHA. You know that, right?
As in, like, oh shit, how much more stuff can we put on here?
Fast forwarding now to the finale.
Countdown to Destruction is the quintessential Power Rangers finale. It is an amazing 2-part episode where, like, the Rangers get their asses handed to them by evil astronomer, and they almost don't make it out alive at this point. Like, the people of Earth have completely lost hope in everything, and Bulk is the one who's like, "Nah, bro, we gotta keep hope. The Rangers are gonna come save us."
But no, that finale was incredible. Andros slicing Zordon's tube and releasing his life force, and just it's like a nuclear bomb. It just wipes everything. And the fact that they show Lord Zed and Rita get put back into their human forms, and Robert Axelrod is just wearing a fucking sweater vest across his shoulders, like
They took Lord Zed, the scariest villain that they had, which is essentially muscles and a skeleton, and then putting him in a sweater vest was probably the worst way they could have ended him. Like, I am Lord Zed. I am in a sweater vest. Let us dance, my love.
but you know what though? It's kind of fitting to show that, like, underneath all of that evilness, there was just this good dude waiting to come out and be proper and nice. Ending it with Phantom Ranger and Blue Centurion fighting all the bad guys.
Like, the Machine Empire was back at full strength, like kicking
Yes.
ass. Even Divatox, and she was like the one who was pretty much holding Zordon hostage for a lot of the season. She was at full, like, a good amount of power.
Now, let me ask you this, and this is just me thinking out loud. Do you believe, or do you think rather, because when Divatox got turned good, she was in the white dress with the flower crown. Do you think that she essentially became the princess of Animaria in Wild Force? No? Okay.
No, I think Shayla had been there for many years.
Okay.
Like, way before all of that. It's a weird timeline of things. Like, Dino Charge stuff happened during the fucking dinosaur era, so, like, there was stuff that happened way before
They're all
Mighty
different
Morphin,
timelines.
but, like, just in a weird order. So I feel like she was a lot earlier in the timeline taking a nap ski. But can we talk about Zordon's final words?
It is your duty as a Power Ranger to save the universe. Now is the time.
That's what he said to Andros to convince him to slice the tube. He's like, "All right, bro, like this is what we got to do." The one thing that I was that bugged me about this finale was they went through all of that trouble to kill us. They killed Astronema essentially. She goes to attack him, and he deflects it with his sword and hits her, and, like, kills his sister. So they unfortunately undid all of that great character building with the tears of sadness that potentially brought her back
to life.
I would like to think that it was the Z-Wave itself that, like, cured the evil
the
from
spell,
her, and the tear is what woke her up? Question mark.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with that because I feel like a tear is a sad way to bring someone back to life.
Yeah. All in all, my opinion, Power Rangers in Space gets a 9 out of 10.
100%, dude. This season, like I said, it brought the series back from the brink of demise. It was on its way out the fucking door, and then this season just brought everybody back into it. So they had so many toys sold for this. I mean, when you design your season built around so many 4 different Megazords and a Battleizer and Galaxy Glider.
It was great, and the fact that it was a mostly American-produced season.
Yeah.
Was
Very
good,
little
too.
Sentai footage, it was a lot of the American actors with, like, in the suit with their helmet off, which is always great because, like,
Yes.
you have to shoot that in real time. You can't rely on footage for that. And like Bulk and Skull, like, had a great character arc ending to their starting off as the quintessential asshole bullies in high school, and essentially standing up for the Earth and going against Astronema and be like, I'm the Blue Ranger, I'm the Black Ranger,
Yep.
and like getting ready to like, okay, you want to throw hands with Earth, we gonna throw some hands. And then the professor trying to say that he was a ranger, and we're like, yeah, shut up, old man. Nice try. It was believable until then.
Yeah, I love Power Rangers in Space. It's one of my top 5 seasons of Power Rangers. It was everything that they should have done from the beginning. But they were still trying to figure everything out, like how to make all this Japanese lore American, how to get everything to mesh together to make it proper while incorporating the Japanese footage and the American footage.
Mighty Morphin had to crawl so that In Space could fly.
Exactly. So, but next week we'll be talking about Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, my second favorite season of all time.
I'm excited for this one because this was a fun season that a lot of people kind of overlook. It's not one of those seasons that people think about very heavily. So I'm very excited to dive into that one with you.
If you've had fun here on Ranger Rabble with me, Kyle D, and him, Leo V, please like, subscribe, comment on our YouTube, our TikTok. We have an Instagram coming out.
Yes, we have Instagram. We have all of those things. So we will make sure all of that is down in the description. Make sure you guys in the comments let us know what your favorite season of Power Rangers is, because we're going to need to know what season we're going to do after.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. If you want to tell us what we should do next, we will take the comment with the most likes on it or the most mentioned season, and we will do a rabble on that too. In the wise words of Zordon, in the wise words of Zordon, may the power protect you, Lenny. Should we do it one time?
I think we should.
1, 2, 3.
Let's rock it!
Rock it! Fucking hate you. Later.
Later, y'all.